Show Me Politics TV, City of St. Louis, mayoral candidates interviews. We're sitting down today with Antonio French, alderman in the City of St. Louis. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Absolutely. We're going to discuss a little bit about economic development. I just sort of want to dive in right here. I'm going to give you 1 minute to express to me what you can do better than current management as far as getting the city more fiscally responsible and to develop jobs for the people in your area.
Yeah. So economic development is key to the growth of the city of St. Louis. It's key to bringing jobs and to making neighborhoods more attractive for families to move into and also to stay in, so we can retain some of the population instead of continually lose population. What we've seen for the last 15 years is most of the economic activity in the city of St. Louis has concentrated on that central corridor. That's where we've seen the majority of TIFs, tax abatements, and others incentives to stimulate growth. Meanwhile, in our neighborhoods, both in North St. Louis and South St. Louis, we haven't seen much activity. And as a consequence, we have been bleeding population. 80,000 people have moved out of the city of St. Louis over the last 15 years. We cannot sustain that. We have to start making our neighborhoods places where people want to stay and move into. That starts with economic development in areas that haven't seen it in many years. So when you look at streets like Natural Bridge, Union, Grand, Kings Highway, these are areas that are ripe for growth, where we can take buildings that are vacant now, vacant lots, and turn those into places where we have businesses and places where people can shop in their own community and places where people can work in their own neighborhoods. That would be my focus, is refocusing our city's attention and economic development and resources on neighborhoods in the city of St. Louis. That will make us safer and that will create jobs.
Real quick, and you brought up the derelict buildings. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I believe that the city of St. Louis has a very cumbersome process as far as getting those properties into private hands.
Yeah.
Now, there's always the concern that we sell a property to a guy, he does nothing with it, things don't get better. I think those could be addressed within the contract. But in my personal opinion, I think that the system's too cumbersome. I'd like to see a system where if I'm a developer, that in 1 day's time, if we're talking about a single property, if I have my insurance, I have my plans, I have everything that you need, I should be able to go in there and buy that property from the city. The issue is, and most of our mayoral candidates are aldermen or alderwomen, so this is going to be a little bit against, what the status quo is. But is it really necessary to have an alderman sign off on each and every small transaction?
No, it shouldn't be required. Let me tell you, first, the problem is not that the system is broken, is that the system was designed not to get properties back on the private rolls. The system is designed to land bank.
Right.
All right. And so over the last 25 years, what the city has been doing is assembling land. And this has been part of a strategic plan that has been designed, especially in North St. Louis, to assemble land, not to get it back on the rolls, and to do something different with these neighborhoods. That has worked to the detriment of those folks who've been living in those neighborhoods. We're not waiting for something to happen in 30 years. We want to see something happen today. Exactly. And so what I want to do as mayor is to make that process more streamlined, make it where the city is not the largest landowner in the city. In fact, we don't want to hold on to that land. We want to get it to private hands immediately. And that helps stimulate not only economic development, but it generates more taxes because obviously the city does not pay taxes when we own the land.
Exactly. And Antonio, first, that's my point. We just want to make sure that we're getting this land and not just in the big corporations, big developments, right, because it's that private person that owns it that's going to be the good taxpayer.
Yeah. I've got before I even became alderman, I've got a house on my block, and right next to my house is a vacant lot. I had to ask my predecessor if she would sign a letter that I could buy the vacant lot next to my house, and she wouldn't do it.
Right.